right, guys, welcome to episode number 366 of the Cleveland Moto podcast. Again, from the salubrious confines of Porco Lounge and Tiki Room in the part of the bar that I like to call the sex room.
Yeah.
Because when we're not here, you can move these benches all around. And you can make a 1974 pit group.
Well, you know what this is?
Yeah.
This is when we're here, it's actually a champagne room because there is no
sex in the
champagne room.
Exactly, right. Yeah, I discovered when they got these benches or whatever they are, that first of all, they're hollow. They have storage space inside. That's shenanigans right there. Yeah. But the other thing too is if you put 8 of them together, it's a king-size bed.
Nice. Ooh, can I be the gimp tonight?
Get in the box,
We're gonna
John.
put you in the box. I don't even know if Oscar could fit in these boxes. They're they're pretty tight.
Get in the box, you know what I'm saying?
Boxes. Oliver can fit in any box.
I was just saying, Oscar. Probably can.
He's small enough. He can get.
I could tell.
Hey, no muff too tough. So really, I feel like we have to remind our listeners. So for the people that listened literally to 365, so we'd like to let people know that 365 was the Sobercast. Okay, so 365 was Sobercast, right?
Yeah.
And 364 was off the goddamn rails.
Right.
I mean, seriously, it was legitimately off the rails.
I think we felt a moral obligation to be normal.
Thank you.
Yes, excellent. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Mr. KROMKE. Very good, excellent. We'll have more coming, I'm sure, but that's fine. But that really is. 364 was as tragic gets. Or as lubricated gets.
I went to my priest and he said to 10 Hail Marys and then the next podcast sober.
Right. And so we did 365.
Right.
Yeah.
So 365 was the most professional podcast that Cleveland Moto can give you. So if you had a problem with 365, stop listening to our podcast. It won't get better.
I only grade podcasts on how much fun I have.
There
it's
you
not
go.
about.
So
that's absolutely true.
Just like sex, I always win. That's it. I'm guaranteed to win every time I play.
I don't know if you're going to get yours, but I'm getting mine.
Right, exactly. Whether or not you achieve the greatness you were hoping for, as long as I achieve my greatness, that's why I showed up. Yeah. Yeah. It is hilarious that, by the way, it is still early. We did get an early start.
Yeah.
And the number of drunk spectators that we've had walk by, the young ladies walking by to have a smoke break or what have you.
I feel a guest star coming on.
I do.
Well, I noticed some out of town plates. There's like New Mexico plates and things outside. Something's going on.
Yeah. There's New Mexican plates and there's slightly older Mexican plates.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's it. Because we got a birthday.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Oscar?
Yeah,
Oh
Oscars.
shit, we're not doing that yet?
Right, we're gonna do it.
Are you finally 21?
I'm legal. I'm actually drinking this time around.
Yes. Normally, we don't let him have any hard liquor. We keep him away from loose women. We try to protect him. But how old are you now?
46. Mm-hmm. So way over twice the legal age, so I'm good.
And I got a whole gaggle of people in my world that were born in 76. Mm-hmm. That's the spirit.
Yep.
The spirit is 76.
My wife was too.
And and so was Renee. And my brother and sister, twins, they were born in 76. Nice. We got a lot of those 76s running around.
1776.
Woo. Well, they would be 246 years old at this point. Probably wouldn't be at the podcast. Yeah, exactly. 1976, year of the Freedom Train.
Yes.
Year of America getting in touch with its history. Bicentennial babies, they were called. Yep. Yeah, they were all bicentennial babies. They painted all the fire plugs to look like little revolutionary soldiers in my neighborhood.
Oh, really?
I didn't have the nerve to paint my fire plug. I was going to do that like last year for 4th of July. I'm like, I want to do the red, white, and blue stars and stripes little fire plug. And
right.
Peggy's like, I think that's a big fine if you get caught. And I don't know. And I was like, what? They're going to know it was me. I mean, who's going to paint the fire plug right in front of my house?
Exactly.
I'm like, if there was a way that I thought that I had plausible deniability, I was going to do it.
But what a great way to fuck over your neighbor, though.
Paint your neighbors first.
Yeah.
So paint your neighbors first as a test run.
Don't just do one.
No, that's another one, too.
Out like a sore thumb.
Do a few.
Dude, here's my advice, because I've learned this from being a camera guy.
Right.
Just put a yellow fucking caution vest on.
Yeah,
Nobody will stop
Nobody
you from doing anything.
I've got all kinds of that gear.
Yeah.
Do you know what you should do? Do 2, and then if they come and say anything, just say, I was going to say something. Are the Jehovah's Witnesses allowed to do that? And that might solve 2 problems. I'm thinking that might solve two issues.
Because like mine right now is just brown. It's brown and cream. I'm like,
it's no fun.
That's no fun.
And I would understand if they were like, okay, safety yellow or red. You know,
red.
What do you have against brown?
I'm down with the brown. Man.
Okay, just checking.
Don't try to pull that on me.
The brown and cream reminds me of seeing like like when you had a girlfriend and they threw her underwear down and it was like fucking.
Oh no! It's like a snail ran across there in a hurry.
Obviously, we're talking about women that we aren't with. This is before,
right.
before times.
Not current.
Not currently. No, not at all.
No.
So to our far right, your left, is
Steve Hoffert.
And to his left,
Johnny Mac.
Your humble narrator, Phil Waters. And to
Oscar.
my left,
birthday boy Oscar.
Whoop whoop.
And Steve Sleepy.
So I would just, because we do want to have some fun, and we want to make sure that we give service to the news. If you're not going to shoot your voice into the voice hole, then it has to be closer to your face hole. It's how you use it, really. Yeah. As anyone knows, shorter, what they say, soldiers with shorter rifles get to stand closer to the firing line. Right. That's it. Okay. So, just so you know. But because it is our job as a news podcast, 1 week late, the perpetually 1 week late news podcast, I would like to know if anybody at this table is doing a damn thing because of our recently acquired $4 gas prices. $4 for the 87 octane, by the way. Because I don't run anything but 87 octane in anything I own.
Well, I don't really have much options. I have been driving the Altima instead of Sorrento to work because it gets a little bit better gas mileage. I did just fill it up and it was $67,
right?
Which I've never seen that. I was like, dang. I mean, I get it if you're filling up your pickup truck and you're seeing, $80 to $100, but that was only, I drank, it was down there. It was like 16 gallons.
Yeah, you got it all.
I took a picture and sent it to my wife, and I was like, oh, geez, look at this.
Yeah.
We better adjust our budget.
Yeah.
And I'm like thinking, and this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Well, sure.
Where does it go from here?
And it did drop. So, I mean, the barrel we were at $130 a barrel, and it did drop back to $100 a barrel.
Yeah, I just lost a little bit of money on my investment.
Driving out to Phoenix versus flying.
Yeah.
And it's basically exactly the same.
Yeah.
Hey, Dan's gone.
So it is, I don't know, what do you do?
Well, you're the sound guy. You need to figure that out.
Am I back?
Yeah. Hey, can you hear him?
It's giving you numbers.
We don't have headsets.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I didn't.
You really got to be in it, man. I don't know why it's picking it up.
Did you crank him up?
Oh yeah,
Crank him up, baby.
He's
Crank
all the
him
way
up.
up.
All right, he's maxed out. So you said you did your cost analysis.
Right. So
going to Phoenix.
driving out versus flying and renting a car, basically the same.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's good to know. The reason I wanted to bring this up is obviously I drive a car with a 1,000 cc engine. I drive a car that has pedals, right? And so that doesn't affect me a whole lot. I mean, if I drive that Pajero like I stole it, I'm going to get about 30 miles to the gallon, right? And again, it only drinks cheap gas. Now, all that being said, Oscar and I, a couple of years ago, we went to Isle of Man. And so this year, I figured, let's do it again. Let's hit repeat. Now that Isle of Man's open again, they're going to be racing again. Let's hit repeat. I went online no less than, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
3 weeks ago, I went online and I found us tickets. Round trip. Cleveland to Ireland, Ireland to Isle of Man from Dublin, and then Isle of Man back to Dublin, and then Dublin back to Cleveland. $795 for the whole goddamn trip.
3 weeks ago.
Both ways.
Yeah.
3 weeks ago.
Today, if you want to buy
This was 2 nights ago. So 2 nights ago, I had done this, and would anyone like to guess what the exact same trip, using the exact same flight numbers, with the exact same carrier, is today?
Yeah.
35.
Okay, anyone else?
I'm trying to figure out, I'm going to do it in times. Is it going to be twice as much? 3 times as much?
Yeah. We went from 795.
I'm going to say 3 times as much.
Okay. All right. So about $2,400 round trip.
Yeah.
Steve, do you have an opinion on this one?
That's what I was going to say, like 2,400.
$2,400 round trip, right?
1,500.
1,500? Did you?
I said 35.
Okay, 35. My folks, the real answer is $5,785.
Wow.
For the exact same flights, the exact same trip. Everything's exactly the same as it was 3 weeks ago.
Well, no, there's a war.
And it's not like that trip is only 2 weeks away and we went from the cheap window into the expensive window. That trip is still at the end of May, beginning of June. So we're still well beyond the 6 or 8 weeks that they would recommend to be in the lowest pricing window. It's shocking.
Yeah.
I'm going to San Diego for electric vehicle thing. I'm going on Monday. Going to be flying into San Diego and flying out of San Jose. When I was talking to the company that's paying for me to do this, I was like, yeah, I'm not sure how my plan's going to work out. I'm not sure if I want to fly out of San Diego or if I want to fly out of San Jose. I'm not sure. And they were like, well, you can do whatever you want. We're going to pay for this with our travel agency company. So if you have to change it, you're just going to have to eat the difference. So I was like, okay, let me look it up and see what the difference really is, because I've flown to San Diego from Cleveland a lot.
Yeah.
And you've flown there a
all
lot.
the time, yeah.
And we know that $400 to $700 is generally the butter zone.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
$400 to $700, and that's not like www.somebodyelsestickets.com.
No,
that
straight
is
from
like
the air-
that is from the airline
Yep.
proper. Get a refund if you can't make it kind of tickets. My trip back, a one-way trip back from San Jose to Cleveland, was $1,450.
Fuck. That's crazy.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's nuts,
And that's
man.
not first class.
No, that is. I never fly anywhere for. I never fly anything but steerage. And James the other day, of course, he wanted to go down and visit his girlfriend in Orlando, which is it's the Disney ticket. It's the Disney ticket, Cleveland to the Mouse, right?
Didn't he say like before the tickets were like $45?
$45.
Yeah.
James is usual for Spirit or Frontier or which, by the way, those may be real airlines. I'm not sure, but they may be. It may just be a paint job on somebody else's jet. But the point is, he's done it several times. They canceled his flight like 2 hours before his flight. And they said, oh, yeah, we're terribly sorry. We canceled your flight 2 hours
that's
late.
bullshit.
We're going to give you a $400 flight credit. James is like, what, game on?
Yeah, because that's
right?
like 4 flights.
Game on, right? Take your $400 flight credit. He tried to go 3 days ago.
Chris.
He knows he's going to get a drink. Oh, there you go. Oh, see. Are you going to help him with that?
I got him a drink.
I'm sure he doesn't need any help with that.
Yeah. So James tried to use his $400 flight credit to go down and see Crystal.
No.
Oh, no.
$700. Oh. So what would have been a $45 or $50 ticket, $700.
bullshit.
So guys, the reason we're talking about a news event is because it's kind of fucking news. Yeah. Normally, we stay away from facts on our podcast. We like to keep it very fast and loose. But this is a big thing if you're thinking about traveling and going to an event. Holy fuck.
Phil, I'm thinking you could go long on your next buddy order.
Yeah. It's been fucking crazy at the shop, man. This is 2008 all over again, which scares the piss out of us because what happened last year, or 2008 third quarter, our very best quarter as a company ever. 2008 fourth quarter, our very worst quarter as a company ever. We went
We
from
talked about like 2010 was the year that.
Talking to the mic.
Hey, calm the fuck down. I'm getting ready to turn, and don't you touch me again.
That's without alcohol. people?
Remember 2010 was the year nobody sold nothing.
nobody sold
Right,
anything.
right.
Cars didn't
That means
sell,
somebody
nothing
sold
sold.
something, because if nobody sold nothing,
Talking to the mic.
if nobody sold nothing, then
Then that means everybody sold something.
Yeah.
I get it.
You're not getting on the mic.
I like the way they flinch now.
Yeah.
Like you can tell that this is an abusive relationship because now even when it's like, "Hey, how you doing?" They're literally two people flinch. I had a rescue dog that didn't flinch as hard as you did.
Dude, you know what kids these days don't know is
Yeah.
that like that was normal. Like I had a flinch from my mom, like you wouldn't fucking
Oh,
believe.
really? Yeah,
My
all
God,
of us
yes.
did.
Oh, yeah.
My mom was a big woman. I mean, big woman. As some of you may have met her, she's a very large woman. But when mom would slam on the brakes, we didn't always have seatbelts.
Yeah.
So when mom would slam on the brakes, the right arm came out. And the right arm came out like a bus driver opening the door. But it was there because that was her front seat impact protection. But when that arm would swing out, and she's not a little woman, if you happen to be leaning forward in the seat or talking to your sister and brother in the back seat, you caught the full force of that woman's arm.
Oh yeah.
And when you caught the full force of that woman's arm, she put you over the bench seat. Plus, you're just like, what the hell did I do? Because, corporal punishment
Oh yeah.
was always being served at my household.
It's a way of life.
It was. It was like a regular item. It'd be like, oh, I didn't get a dope slap today. What the fuck? Oh, mom's out of town.
My mom was a nun before she quit being a nun to have, family. So she had the nun sneaky attack
sure
where, like,
she did, yeah.
she wouldn't even be looking at me, and I would say something, and I'd be like, where did that come from?
I
I didn't even know what had happened.
Right.
I was home a couple weekends ago, and I was begging my mom to break a wooden spoon over my ass, like just for good old times.
Just for old times.
And she said, "You're too old for that. I'll get out the metal spatula now."
Oh no! Oh fuck me running. No, that's not right. That's terrible, man. I had mom do number wooden spoons, and we were Italian household, so we had the really, really long wooden spoon, perfectly, 3/4 inch dowel with a big round head on the end of it for getting into the people pot, but eventually my mom got hip, and she bought one of those things called a breadboard, and a breadboard, it kind of looks like a bullet with a little handle on the
Oh,
end.
perfect paddle.
It is the perfect
You
paddle
just need to
ever.
put some speed holes in it.
Well, and that was the joke, is I was always like, oh man, this is not cool. But she had this thing where she would go sideways to cut through the wind, and at the last second flatten it out. And I was like,
skill.
it's evil, it's just mean. And then she broke it on my brother. Yeah, she broke it on my brother. He's bony though. He doesn't have any room for impact on him.
We had a teacher that would take a ruler, slam it on your desk, and jam it in your solar plexus. So I got smart one day, and I had my book like on my lap.
Yeah.
And he slammed the ruler down, and I pulled my book up, and it hit the book.
Yeah.
He picked me up and slapped me on my back, and
Yeah.
I had a bruise of a hand
Oh,
on my
jeez
back
Louise.
for like a week.
Corporal punishment. My God.
But that guy was the best.
I
He
do.
was the best.
He was the best. I think we did have a few teachers that liked going to work every day because it did mean that they could take out some anxiety they had from their home life on the student body.
I remember the
Usually my
principal
student body.
where I was in primary school, and he used, when people were called into the principal's office, sideburns, man. Just grab you from the sideburns and just wiggle the shit out of it. One of the guys pulled some hairs out, pulled some sideburns out. That was the last time he did it, but that was his.
That was
shtick.
his game. Was he literally
sideburns?
So, who here's been beat by a nun?
I've never had that.
How about an ex-nun every day?
Who
What
here
about
would,
a girlfriend?
who
dressed
here
up
would
as
be
a
willing to
nun,
throw
though?
down an extra 50 for that?
Yeah,
Gonna say yeah.
legit or just a cosplay?
I'd make it a habit.
Didn't.
I used to say Piper had a little remote control. It was right on the back of her neck. I grabbed that little bit of hair right back there and just lift her up on her toes. Like, what do you think they're doing?
It works. Just because it works for cats doesn't mean it doesn't work for people. Yeah, it's legit.
Little nape of the neck.
Hey, when I say the word Buell, what comes to mind?
Sadness.
You want me to? Do you really want me to answer this?
Big and uncomfortable.
Knowing that I'm armed with previous text messages.
When you say Buell, basically what I think of is I'm thinking of like I had a couple of Buells. I loved them because they were rowdy V-twin Sportsters in a decent frame, and they had a little bit of a unpredictable, like you wouldn't loan them money kind of thing, right? Yeah, okay, all right.
I'm thinking of a 175 horsepower dirt bike.
The fastest dirt bike in America. Look at this. Look at
And
this.
is this Eric Buell or is this those guys that are using the Buell name?
So
But
what
I
was
think
it
it's
called?
the new Buell.
It was called it's called the DR Dune Racer or
Yeah.
something
Okay,
like
all right.
that.
Yeah.
And like they say that their goal now is to have the fastest bike in every category.
Oh, okay, all right.
So they're starting off with this one.
But I believe this is the Liquid Asset Partners. This is not. I think Eric is not involved with this at all, despite
It's
the
some
use
guy-
of his name.
It's some guy named Martin or something like
Yeah.
that. But here's the interesting thing. 175 horsepower and 101 foot-pounds of torque on a dirt bike.
On a dirt bike, of
What
course.
the fuck are you going to do with that?
Well,
I mean, maybe if
It's
you're...
called Spray and Pray.
yeah.
Dunes.
Yeah. The zero.
Probably put screws in the tires.
Well, when you think about it, though, I mean, what do you do with it on the track? You have all kinds of rider aids. So
Yeah.
if it has 175 horsepower but has a ton of rider aids, you might be able to do anything you want with that.
But I mean, it's going to be very specific to like dune racing and stuff. You're not going to find those on motocross tracks. Like, it's going to have to be like a...
Oh yeah, I mean it's a desert sled.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's the whole idea. It's just the all of the desert sled.
But I want to know that meeting, though. They're like,
What's
okay...
the final shot in the Scrambler Wars? It's like, it is literally the fuck you, we're done.
Yeah, we're done.
Like, it's okay. You like the word Scrambler? You put a Scrambler on a Triumph 1200? Yeah, good for you.
Right.
Great. Hold on. watch this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just
We're done.
they're like, we've made road bikes for 20
Yeah.
years. We have covered things. We're kind of known for that. So we could bring out a brand new road bike that would actually be good.
Right.
Or
Right.
fuck
Or we
it,
could do this.
dirt bike.
Or we could do
Yeah.
this. A giant
But you have
fuck
to
you
change
dirt
the
bike.
tires. It's not going to be like all terrain, like all the
Right.
different scenarios. You
Yeah.
have to do that anyway. So it's not going to be like.
Silly you think the bike is what's important. It's all about the publicity. If you don't get the publicity,
true.
you don't sell any bikes.
That's true.
I wonder if they're going to say next year the #1 selling American 1000cc dirt bike.
That never happens.
number one selling 1000cc American dirt bike built from a manufacturer that used to be owned by Harley Davidson. How far are we going to go? Is it? Right.
Until there's no way that any legal shit can attack it.
Exactly. Can anybody get this out to Bonneville real quick? We need a class. We're going to design a class for it,
just for it,
and
yeah.
then we're going to run it. Can we put a sale on it just for that class too?
The Buell HP Baja DR is the fastest bike in the Bonneville Buell HP Baja DR class.
And they're going to just hang all those names on it? So it could be like, so how many horsepower is it?
175.
So it'd be a T175.
Right.
Right. So it'd be a T175. Yeah, you could just go down the line.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be cool. You could piss off everybody. Yeah.
I have a question about Bonneville.
Yeah.
Is it only for powered vehicles?
Yes.
I mean,
yes,
I mean,
it
do
is.
they have a category for like wind power? Like
I
the
do
fastest
not
wind
believe
powered?
the California Speed Timing Association has a category for fastest self-propelled shopping cart or whatever. I think it has to be a
in the categories provided.
and yes, and you can petition
Okay.
to have a new category.
Well, how long? Think about this,
installed,
though.
yeah.
You have to go, what, 5 miles there and 5 miles back, or 1 mile? How
Well,
long
I think
is
the
it?
total run, if you're going to use the full pull, it's I think 8 miles. So,
right, but I'm saying,
yeah.
you have to do at least time record. Like
Oh
you-
yeah.
So
yeah,
I mean, think about that. It would take like 35 minutes for the guy to fucking get there,
Right.
and then another.
And you do have
Well,
to
not
do your return
necessarily
trip
because
within
you
an
can
hour.
go
Right.
faster. You can go faster than the wind in certain conditions.
With
like if
Bonneville,
the-
though, you have to do one trip each way within an hour.
and then they average the
right.
speed.
So
So
if
you
you're
could do it if
using-
it was a quartering wind.
Right.
You
Yes.
could do it. If it was a reach,
You could do it. And the cool thing is, when you got done at the end, nobody would care. You will have only successfully held up 400 other racers who would be like, so when do you go, Steve? Well, I go when he gets back. And Oscar says, well, okay, so tomorrow does look like a nice day. Right. Meanwhile, quarter mile Kenny back here with 1,400 horsepower in his moped is like, come on, man, I want to go.
It's just an intellectual
Yeah, I get it.
exercise. It wasn't really meant to be.
Is that what we call a thought experiment?
Yeah, no, but I didn't know if I
Drink
didn't
more.
know if you had a
I would like
I
to.
get it.
categories.
Yeah, right.
Just asking for a friend. That's all.
I want to set the land speed record on the Honda Kick and Go because it says Honda on it
Right.
and it's got 3 wheels.
Good as
You know
it
what?
gets.
Those Navis are starting to look really good now.
Those Navis are not looking really good now.
$1,800, and you can get 100 miles to the gallon.
And you were
Right.
watching reviews of them this morning.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
50 mile an hour.
I'm going to wait until ClevelandMoto has its Navi, which means the first person that brings a Navi in for service. So if you're out there and you own a Navi, please bring it in for service.
It's
Sir, it's
custom.
custom.
Navi's like, okay, my wife's a therapist.
Okay.
And some people come in, when she was doing this, and you don't know what's wrong with them. The doctor's got no diagnosis or whatever.
Right.
But they would say they're funny-looking kids. I mean, there's just something not like. Well, you look at
It's a
somebody.
clinical diagnosis, FLK. What does that mean?
No, it is. It's like
It's a funny-looking kid.
No, you don't know what's the matter with them, but there's something that you can see that's not right, but you don't know.
In the law enforcement industry, we say JDLR. You know what that stands for? Just doesn't look right.
Yeah, and so that's what
Yeah.
that's what the Navi is.
Yeah, just doesn't look right. Yeah. So Exhibit A This is a funny looking kid. Is it? But the Navi is, and so I would very much like to do like a 17-way shootout between the Navi and anything anybody wants to bring. And I'm going to say John Deere riding tractor. I'm going to say gas-powered, turbine-powered stand-up scooter. Anything you want to
It would
have.
kill a Coleman mini bike.
It would. I don't know.
Dude, I don't know.
I honestly don't know.
The T12 Predator motor, that thing will do 70.
But I've ridden a few stock Coleman mini bikes where I was like, this must be a spicy one. Where I've
Remember
got
my green thing?
Yeah,
that
the
thing
green
tried
thing,
to
yeah.
kill
Oh,
all of
the
us,
Grim?
especially me.
The Grim?
No, not the Grim. This would be prior to the Grim.
It was the mini bike.
Yeah.
After crashing
that
it,
one. Yeah. The one
It
you
was
got,
the Coca-Cola racing special.
after crashing it 7 times, you were the victim of a pooled spark plug.
Yes.
I remember that, yeah.
It was running so well. It was running
happened with it?
so. I have
Funny
no
thing,
idea what
next morning
happened.
it started right up.
I know, it's
No
crazy.
idea. Yeah.
No, but that was a good thing because there was a couple times they had no suspension at 60 miles an hour on 8-inch wheels
Right.
and on dirt was not a good.
A couple times.
And I think what we'll do too is we'll bring out Johnny 5. We'll bring Johnny 5, 125cc, 70-mile-per-hour skateboard.
Yes.
We'll
Yep.
bring that out of retirement.
Yep.
Okay.
So we'll bring Johnny 5 out of retirement so we can do the shootout versus the Navi, for a literal $53 buddy scooter. So
I will-
a $53.
I volunteer for the skateboard because I need to get my knees replaced.
Yes.
And so that'll be the.
So you'll be ready for that.
Yeah, that'll be good to
I
go.
think that's a damn good idea. Good timing too.
Well, that was you had mentioned. Did we do anything different? We did have the first. Peggy was like, "You're gonna have to start riding your bike a lot," and I'm like, "I can do that." You're gonna need to get a bike.
Challenge accepted.
I'm like, "You're gonna need to get a scooter or something."
Yeah, right. Yeah. Amen. I did have the first call that we got where somebody called in and said, "So, what's your best fuel economy vehicle?" And I was like, "Well, we've got electric scooters, which technically, you know, I don't really know. I don't really want to math you out on this, but it's about 600 miles per gallon." Cost versus whatever. I mean, plug it into the wall. It's about 80 cents worth of electricity to ride it 70
gas,
miles.
yeah.
You know,
Right, and as gas prices go up, that
Yeah,
number
cheaper
goes
the
up
gas.
that
too.
number
so.
just keeps going up, right? So I basically told the guy, I was like, look, without even wandering into the world of 49cc ridiculousness, because things like the Honda Metropolitan and things like the Ruckus, that's a fuel-injected 49cc liquid-cooled bike. They get over 120 miles to the gallon. It's almost hard to calculate the mileage because being off by 3 or 4 ounces when you fill it can change your results so much.
But you got to live in like Boca Vista down in Florida where you can only go
Yeah.
inside your like.
Gated community.
Yeah,
right.
But you're also in school zone land when you're
Right.
riding them.
That's
because
true.
You're
Yeah.
not going very fast.
Yeah.
so.
And so, but to us, we did a test on the new Vespa, the Vespa 150s. When they first came out, they advertised 96 or 97 miles per gallon. And I was like, I don't know, the Buddy's got 90 miles per gallon, and they did that without a fuel injector. I kind of felt like the Vespa might have been underselling itself. So we tested it on 87 octane, and we did real world back and forth to work driving. And I got about 107, 108, and you guys all know I don't ride gentle,
Yeah.
right? I ride like a light switch.
Hoff could have got like 150 out of
You're
it.
right. There's no doubt in my mind, believe me.
I think what we could do is we need to get the Buddy 5-gallon gas tank where you delete your underseat storage.
Oh,
you take
yeah.
out the old gas tank and it's just one 5-gallon tank.
Do they really
5-gallon
sell
tank.
that?
You can-
No.
You can make it. That's a
you can
blow
mod it.
molding, no
Yeah,
big deal.
yeah.
Acerbus or whatever.
When I did
The gas would go bad before you use it
yes,
up.
that's and when
I
I
was
did,
just thinking you'd be able to drive it, you'd be able to ride for
You
3
wouldn't run
weeks
out
and
in the
never have to
Adirondacks.
fill up.
it's true.
You could go back and forth to that brewery with no fucking problems.
And I can tell you guys without any
I told you.
reservations, right?
Don't bring that up because I told you were run out of gas.
Yeah.
I know.
I
freaky.
can absolutely tell you that my buddy Scooter made it from Wellington, Ohio, 125 carbureted, made it from Wellington, Ontario, or Wellington, Ohio, to St. Catherine's Bridge on the QEW. So the bridge on the QEW going over St. Cat's, which is 15, 20 miles outside of Fort Erie, like going anti-clockwise. Before I ran out of gasoline in the tank and had to switch over, like had to dump my 2-gallon jerry can that I had under the seat. And I was shocked because I was like, apparently I'm just never going to run out of gas, you know? So that's ridiculous amount of range because you're getting like 90 miles to the gallon. So very kind of an interesting thing when you start getting into these 125s and stuff like that.
And then there's the Spade.
Then there's the Spade,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, you want to go fast? It's going to cost you.
You know what? And I still love that bike.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to put one of those 9-gallon.
That's going to be the
Krauser
hilarious thing.
tanks
Yeah,
on it.
right. Yeah. Put
Put a CB750 tank on it.
Wow.
Or a KZ.
Yeah. I just had this conversation with somebody today. I said, like, Americans have this mindset with electric vehicles. They're like, oh, well, the range is only 120 miles. And I'm like, yes, but you are allowed to charge it somewhere other than your house.
And where do you go anyway?
Right. And that was my thing. And I was like, he's like, I'd buy one if it had a 400-mile range.
Why?
And I was like, do you ever go 400 miles in one day?
My Africa Twin, we get 220 on the whole fucking bike?
Right.
So like
And
that's
you
what
can push it to 2. You get over 50 miles to a gallon.
Right.
You know what you need
So
to
you
come
can
up with?
get over 250 on one tank.
Yeah, I don't doubt
Okay,
that.
but that's a big tank and it's
Yeah.
250 miles. So these people with electric bikes, they're like, I want a 400-mile range.
Oh, I know.
Most of your gas bikes don't have that.
They need a charging pad, so when they don't have to be bothered by plugging it in or anything. Because when they pull it in their garage and park it, that's automatically charging.
Well, I had the, as you like to say, I had the thought experiment with one of my customers today, and I said, well, how about if I told you that there's a set of saddlebags that we can bolt up to the bike, and that will double your range. You go from a 200-mile range to a 400-mile range. Are you cool with that? Do you like that idea? And he's like, well, you can do that. And I said, well, of course we can do that. That's not a problem. We'll give you, it's an SRF. We can put 2 more batteries. Electric Terry had batteries all over his bike, his cross-country bike. I was like, that's not a problem at all. Let's just do it. And instantly the guy was like, oh, okay, well, so what's your, do you have any other 650s? And I was like, you son of a bitch. Like, that's the thing is half the time people want to come in and we are by appointment only. Yeah. So I'm vetting the shit out of people because I got a lot of people who want to come in and spend money. And so if you want to come in and pull my dick, I have no room for you.
I accidentally kind of fucked you.
Yeah?
So one of my buddies he's an FPV guy.
Oh, he's in the Cushman Club. All right.
No. This is you're going to get some calls soon.
Oh, yeah?
So he has a thing called Lot Topic where they sell like all this like anime shit and stuff.
Lot Topic.
He goes to all the shows and does stuff.
Yeah.
And so he was posting about something and they were all fucking jizzing on the screen over a fucking an Ace. One of your fucking the little vans.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, they're impossible to get, whatever. I was like, no, they're not. And I fucking put a link to your website.
So many of them.
They're all like, holy fuck.
Good,
and they're all
good.
talking
And that
about
is
it.
that is something that I do want to sell because, okay, I own, anybody who's been in my warehouse knows I have too many Japanese vehicles right now. Just too many.
But when they show up wearing like dog costumes and shit,
Well,
just accept them.
He has the Hello Kitty one with the Godzilla on the side.
exactly.
So
Oh,
that's
fuck.
Hey, Steph.
I forgot to show them that.
Yeah.
Oh, they would have lost
That's
their
the win,
minds
right?
on that.
Yeah.
So all of these things get Japanese level of economy.
Yeah.
Right? Which means 30 miles per gallon would be the starting point, right? And then all of them are also a goddamn durable, right? So that's it too. And I've got them that run on gas. I got them that run on diesel. I got them that run on Fruit Loops. We got them all. We can satisfy virtually any need.
Oh, God. Steve needs one that runs on Fruit Loops.
Baby. Fruit Loops.
I could feed him you.
No, fruit cakes. But I'm ready to sell a bunch of them. I just need to be more motivated.
Yeah.
Because we're in winter mode still. And I'm like, God damn it, I'm going to go to the warehouse and
That
pull them
one
out.
brown one really needs to go.
That Mitsubishi. Yeah, that Mitsubishi Minica.
Yeah.
You know why it needs to go? At least 40 people a week pull into my parking lot and are like, hey, man, what is that? I'm like, yeah, it's a Mitsubishi Minica Volkswagen front end conversion. That thing's fucking badass. I'm like, yeah, it's badass. It's really cool. Yeah, man. How much you want for that? Oh, dude, I'll take 6, right? I'll take 6. Yeah, man. So anyway, I'm like, stop. Yes, it is lowered. All of the lowering. Like, it cannot be lowered anymore. If it's lowered anymore, tires won't move, right? So it is as lowered as it can get. If you run over a nickel, you're going to be able to tell what year it is. It is lowered. And on top of that, it has a 660cc motor with the carburetor and an automatic transmission.
So it's super fast.
Super
Fuel economy.
Super fuel economy.
Fuel
Right.
economy.
Right.
It's all about
Exactly.
fuel economy now.
And basically what this is this is a box where you would put $20,000 worth of stereo equipment.
Right.
Yeah,
This is a box that you would open up the tailgate on and blow somebody's panties off.
Like at that car
Right.
show, and they have the controllers outside of the car.
Yes.
So they don't hurt their ears.
Or in
They
the
hurt
next
your
neighborhood.
ears. Yeah, right.
It's a show.
Right.
It's a show car.
It's a show car.
It's a show car.
But driving it is like, oh crap. Oh no. Oh crap. I gotta pull up into this driveway. Hold on. Wait. Now get the approach angle just right.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Open your door a little bit. Okay, now. Yeah. You don't go lock to lock in this thing. You go left, scrape. Nope, back off a little bit. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Yeah, you know what? I got to do a lot of things, but mostly I got to sell it. Yeah. Because out in front of my shop right now, it's just a big brown bug light for weirdos.
You got to get like the Puerto Rican dudes turned on to it because they'll slap an RX-7.
Hold on, son.
Have
you not been to my shop? There has not been an English-speaking person literally licking my window, pointing at the car, and just shouting at the height of enthusiasm at the glass in Spanish. And I know what they're on about. I mean, I know what's going on. I parked it there. Right? Yep. And they're losing their goddamn mind.
Yeah, they got a rotary motor swap waiting for that thing.
And I would have sold it a year ago if we wouldn't have tried to do a rapid exit from the shop and forgot to disconnect the Kendon trailer.
Oh, yeah.
That was bad.
So one night we had been drinking.
I was there.
You were there.
Yeah. Drunkulator.
We'd drink later. Yeah.
That was a Nick move.
That was a Nick move. That's in the Nick Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I didn't know you could pull a whole trailer over a car. Over a car.
Right. Well, he tried to implant my motor. He did try to implant my motorcycle into his car, so he's pretty good at that.
Again, that was one of those ones where like you pull the truck 6 feet forward, and John and everybody's shouting. You guys were like, ah! And nobody could get the actual English words out. No. It was just, ah! And it was everybody in every zombie movie when they first see the very first zombie, and they just don't know words. They forget words, and everybody was just kind of like, ah! And I could hear all the noise.
But you knew what we meant.
And I felt the whole van kind of like. And it takes a lot to stop my vans. And when it went, I was like, oh, and I instantly went, I fucking cable locked the trailer to the back of the van for security purposes. And it literally just tried to jump over a Japanese car.
Yeah.
Yep, the wrong way. So yeah, here we go. So now I got a hood scoop.
Yeah.
So yeah, but there we go. But that's got to sell. I got to work hard on selling these Japanese domestic cars because what? If you look at Bring a Trailer, if you look at Used Bike Daily, if you look at Buy a Boat, you look at Buy an RV, a little Celica convertible that I had looked at 1 year ago with 80,000 miles on it, like an 85, that was like really nice, totally buyable at $7,000. That exact car right now, this morning, was $17,700. That car has gone up $10,000 in 1 calendar year. It's still the same seller selling it. I know him. He's done nothing to it.
You know what's interesting?
Yeah.
I was driving. Where the fuck was I? I don't know. I was going somewhere, but I was going in the area where like there's usually all the little like tiny car lots.
Yeah.
Like the ones like buy here,
The
pay
Bedford
here.
Auto Mile.
Yeah, all
Yeah,
that shit,
right,
right?
yeah.
And they're all empty.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Because I think they sold them to bigger dealers because they got probably more money than they ever thought they were going to get from anybody.
A guy came into my shop the other day and said, I will trade. I just want to buy that motorcycle. Great, you want to buy that motorcycle. What have you got to trade? I got an 18 Volkswagen. I said, bring it in. And he's like, really? I said, bring it in. And he goes, well, what are you going to give me for it? I said, just bring it in so I can see it, see how bad it is, see what's going on with it. Oh, it's fine. It's got 31,000 miles on it. It runs great. But we have 3 cars in the household now. We only need 2. That one's paid off so we can sell it. So if somebody will give me a good trade on it towards motorcycle, I said, bring it in, get it in here. Just get it in here and let me take a look at it and the whole deal. And he's like, yeah, I was thinking about calling a few dealerships. And I was like, well, then I'm out. Because, right now everybody's spending $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 over what anything is worth or should be. Carvana is giving people over current MSRP. So one of our customers said Carvana offered him $3,000 more for his 2-year-old car than that new car would be right now today on the lot.
Steve, would you like to tell them about what's going on with your truck?
You tell them, because I can't even talk. I'm gonna cry.
Oh boy.
So Steve has a nice little 2-wheel drive Toyota Tacoma.
Yeah, the new one.
In the color of brown. He got rid of his new one.
Oh no, you're right. So he's got the old Tacoma.
He had his old Tacoma, which he sold to Patrick for the princely sum of $8,000.
Okay. Yeah.
Now Patrick drove it for 2 years, and then still ended up stipping him on that. But we won't even go there. Well, yeah, but he didn't pay for the 2 years he drove it for free.
Okay.
But anyway.
All right, fair enough.
But winter comes along, and the 2-wheel drive with no winter tires on it doesn't want to move, and he's like, I don't like this thing. I need a car. So Steve lends him his Subaru.
Yeah.
And he gets the car back. He gets the pickup truck back. And of course, it needs brakes and oil change.
You saw
it. It's been neglected.
And it's been neglected. It's got rust on the back of it.
Steve's like, well, I'm going to buy the car back off of him.
Fix it.
Yeah, and you'd think, okay, so what do you think Steve should have to pay to buy his old truck off of his son?
No, I think that it should just be title swap. Son takes the Subaru.
Well, the Subaru's like junk. I mean, that's worth $1,000.
Oh, I disagree.
Well, his is all rusted.
I saw it. Yeah,
oh, okay. Well, whatever.
I think it's a $4,000 car.
Whatever.
Yeah, right.
But I mean,
yeah.
The worst you'd think would be like, oh well, I sold it to you for $8,000. I'll give you $8,000.
Let's turn it.
Yeah,
give it back. Give it
it
back to me. I'll just give
it's
you.
It's like we
$8,000.
never met.
Well, Maggie, who just went through Carvana, who just turned her car into Carvana, at a $6,000 loss, which Steve had to pay.
Okay.
Looks up the Toyota Tacoma on Carvana's website and finds out that it's worth $14,000.
Yeah.
So Patrick says, "Yeah, you can have the truck for $14,000."
Oh man!
And
I'd like to remind you,
for listeners, both of these
people,
that is his son.
Thank you.
Both of these people, Maggie and Patrick, both of them came out of his penis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, you talk about. I mean, I met them both, and they are wonderful people, but they walk on Steve so bad.
They're wearing his balls, man.
How could you do that? I feel so bad. We're all at work, and we're just like, poor Steve. This is
how I loaned my daughter the money to.
This is the whole thing. And
that Maggie, the hot shot that goes on Carvana,
right.
He paid off her $6,000 worth of negative equity.
And Steve, they both came out of your balls. Yeah. Sorry, dude.
Even the left one.
Yeah.
So the sad part is, I got her the Subaru.
All right.
Because she wrecked 2 of my Priuses.
Yes, she did.
So I had 2 really nice Prius, Prii, and she totaled 2 Prii.
Right.
So I finally said, okay, you need to buy
a bumper car.
You need to buy your own car, make payments on it, so you're more careful with it.
Yeah.
So I found a Subaru Impreza with like 9,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
And it was like super cheap.
Okay.
And she drove it out to Denver.
Yeah.
And she was there for 2 years, and then it's a nice all-wheel drive.
It's a perfect car for Denver.
So she's like, calls me up and says, I'm thinking about trading it in, and it's getting some rust on it. And I'm like, it's only got 30,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about anything. The brakes aren't even worn out yet.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I'm looking at this Honda Civic. I'm like, it's not any bigger than the car you're driving.
Right.
And you only owe like $1,000 left. You have like $1,000 left on this car.
Yeah.
And so I said, do not buy that Civic. It's 2-wheel drive.
Yeah.
It's whatever. The next day, I bought the Civic.
Of course she did.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So she went from owing $1,000 on a car to owing $28,000.
Oh, you didn't tell me it was a new Civic.
It was a used Civic, and she bought some $5,000. No,
wait, what?
It wasn't a $5,000. It was like a $6,000 service plan on it.
Oh no!
And I'm like,
We don't need men.
no, that's what I heard today when they couldn't light the water. They couldn't light the water heater.
We don't need men.
So they said we read the after explaining it to them for 15 minutes and they couldn't get it lit.
Right.
They finally read the directions on it, and they said, we don't need a man around here. And so they hung up.
No, the gender is irrelevant. I mean, look, man.
You just need your brain cells. That's what they need.
Yeah, so anyway, she has a Civic. It's like the top of the line
My
Civic.
wife wouldn't buy a $28,000 Civic.
It was a turbocharged, whatever, all this, like, whatever.
Right.
And it didn't even have a manual transmission. So, I can't stand free manual transmissions.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, we get it.
So anyway, I pay this thing off, like John said, and then she sticks it up my pooper.
Oh, so you bought the Civic?
No, she turned the Civic into
Carvana.
at a $6,000 loss.
The only person who's ever lost money on Carvana. No, I'm teasing
I have a
because
feeling-
It's actually Steve.
right.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Right.
I made money on my truck,
Right.
and I lost
Yeah.
money on my.
Oh man.
Well, I have a feeling this car thing is going to turn into like the Zillow thing because Zillow
Yeah.
bought all these houses for like exorbitant fees,
Right.
And now they're fucked.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
Zillow's
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
going down hard
Yeah.
because they overpaid for.
They overpaid
shit
for
on
tons of
houses.
stuff just to buy inventory.
BlackRock or whatever will buy them all out at wholesale prices.
wholesale price, sure.
And screw everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
So-
sure.
Hey, you guys want to get some? You want to get some listener news?
Sure.
Yeah.
Listener mail.
Absolutely.
Chris, could you close that drape?
And
that
maybe
that
flag
drape.
down a drink, lady.
Oh boy,
Please,
how's it going? Oh
said
my
please.
God,
Make yourself useful.
that was the problem. Is I
Demonetized.
broke the seal and made him stand up.
Yeah.
Right. I broke the
No,
seal
once
and
he
made him
stands
stand
up.
up. And once you stand up, then you're like, oh well, since you're
Hey,
working,
Chris, can you pee for me real quick?
since you're working here,
Just
Yeah.
right behind that curtain.
Yeah, and bring 3 jokes while you're at it.
right? Yeah. Yeah. I want you to
That's
order.
all you got.
Yeah, that's all you get. Yeah, that's fine. That's
fine.
cool.
I know.
You don't want this one?
No, we're good. That's fine. Yeah, that helps a lot though. Having that shear pulled is really helping a lot. Yeah, I'm just saying. There's one person over there that has a particular cackle. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so here we go. I've got one of our Patreons.
Is it
and
hate mail?
God bless our patrons. No, it's fucking confused mail.
Oh, okay.
So last
We'll take
week's a whole story about the Melosi cylinder kit that
Oh,
that
yeah.
he had punched out.
Yep,
right.
yep.
And completely, as far as we're concerned, completely destroyed it.
Yep.
I did a little checking after the fact, and I wanted to make sure because I don't ever want to give somebody. I don't want to grind him, right? I don't want to grind him. But I did look into it, and yeah, he's fucked. I checked. There is no way out on that.
The crank too, or just a?
Well, no, the cylinder for sure. The cylinder's
the cylinder,
100%.
yeah. He
The
removed
crank
the
was
nickel.
the crank was my idea of being that Stellas are known to have a bad
Yes.
crank.
You're gonna need a big
I
bore
would
kit.
love, and we have a tab going for Cleveland Moto. So Roman twist.
Roman twist. Roman
I
twist,
mean,
Roman twist, the whole
I could make it easy.
Do
Yeah,
John
let's just-
Candy,
Yeah, yeah.
too.
Orange whip, orange whip, orange whip, orange whip.
6 orange whips. Right. got it. Okay, all right. 5 orange whips. All right, so anywho. So here we go. So this is a long-time listener, first-time caller.
Wait, we need a ding.
Ding. Right, so this is Matt Krausen from Fort Atkinson, Wisconsin.
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 What's up, Matt?
Right, small town with a big heart. So I'm gonna list the bikes he has in his garage.
Okay.
First,
Plural.
a 79 CBX,
Okay.
Okay.
a 76 KH500 triple.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
That's a 2-stroke, folks.
Yes, sir.
All right, that's a 2-stroke.
When this dude opens his garage, there's like 100 white guys. Just
That's a half a
standing
CBX,
outside.
but it's a 2-stroke.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
So does that make it a CBX then?
Well, I did find out that I was told by one of our listeners that the Honda 250 Africa Twin is technically called a Halfrica Twin. Because it's half of it, because it's a single cylinder.
Really?
So when you guys were arguing about it, can't be Africa Twin if it's got 4 cylinders, or can't be an Africa Twin if it's got 1 cylinder. He said it's a Halfrica Twin.
Gotcha.
And I'm like,
That's perfect.
That's
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
A Halfrica
But I would
Twin.
argue that it's not an Africa Twin with an inline setup versus a V twin.
Again.
because weren't
Again.
the originals
Look,
V
look.
twins?
Arguments are the spice of life.
Yes.
Right. Exactly. And you know what? At least I'm sure
But
they're
I've
happy.
given
we're-
up.
I'm sure they're happy we're talking
Time
about
marches on.
Right. I'm sure they're happy we're talking about them.
Give me that mic. Get away from Steve.
But he doesn't have any questions about those bikes. He also has an
flinch.
A7 Avenger.
Oh, okay. Those are nice.
Yeah.
Super cool looking little. That's a Kawasaki, right?
Another small 2-stroke. Yep.
Yeah.
Another small 2-stroke. So this guy's garage is like AMA Vintage Days
Yeah.
in one
That's
spot.
why I said
I'm
he opens
smelling
the
what this
garage
guy's
door,
stepping
there's
in.
Just a bunch of old white guys out there. Just,
He's got a spray for him every morning.
You don't know that.
They show up with
Your
like
bigotry is
box
appalling.
of donuts. Yourself is showing.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
it. I noticed you trimmed your beard.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were starting to look like your avatar.
Now he looks like that priest on
Father Nelson. Half Nelson.
Half Nelson.
Full Nelson.
Father Nelson. Nice. Ching. Okay, but what he's calling about isn't the A7 Avenger.
No.
And it's not the KH500 Triple. And it's not the CBX.
Okay.
Are you ready? It's about the 76 Yamaha Chappie.
Oh, yeah. All right.
I made the same face John made. John just made a sound that sounded like, oh.
The only thing cool about it.
Here. This is why we have Steve.
Right, okay.
Take the mic.
Right.
Have
So
fun.
the Chappie.
The next 20 minutes of the podcast is
Go
all
ahead.
you.
Somebody image search a 76 Yamaha Chappie.
I'll put it up.
Right.
It's
So
fine.
anyway, it does. I mean, but it's go ahead. It's got the chubby tires, right? And it basically is. Hold that up so Steve can see it. He'll know it immediately.
It's a wannabe Honda Trail 70.
It looks like a senior
It's a tubular chassis.
Honda
It's got,
Senior Express.
Yeah, it's got the chubbier small tires, right?
Yeah.
And that's what it is. But it's a 49cc and it's a no-ped, and it's what it is. They're fine, right? And they usually came in red, blue, and yellow. So it
What
was
does this
right.
man with perfectly good bikes have to say about this Chappie?
That he should have gotten rid of a long time ago, in my opinion. Okay. Although I have been busy, I didn't know they did a purple edition. I didn't know they did the Miami Vice edition of the Honda Chappie. Hey guys! Thank you. We'll see you around. Yeah,
With the
Those
leg
are
shields,
ladies
too.
that work next door. Yeah, yes, that's got the leg shield as well. And so, although I've been busy with work and have not spent much time working on it, good. I still want to get it done. Bad. The kickstart shaft is broken. Very bad.
Okay.
Ask John about that. I can't get the taillight to work, and I need a new headlight and ring. It's got a high-low transmission, which works great, too. He hasn't said anything that worked great yet.
Yeah.
He hasn't listed A works great yet, and he said works great, too. Okay, anyway. You can't say works great, too, unless you've
If you don't
listed
have
some
anything
other thing that
before,
works
right.
great. All 5 things he's listed are broken.
Just owning that is the thing that gives you to say two.
Hey, you know what? I got this pile of shit in my backyard. It's got a high-low transmission in it. That means nothing. That's it.
Crap.
John Scout in his
all right,
driveway
look at
has a
that.
high-low
Woo!
transmission.
Bunny dip.
Shake it, baby.
Bunny dip on Roman twist. I've never seen anyone. I have never in my life seen an entire tray of Roman twists.
All right, line up, boys. Get your Roman twist here.
Shut up and get your Roman twist. All right. Yeah.
You said you didn't want
All right.
it, so what do you want?
Well, I don't know, but nobody can see what you're
Roman
doing.
twist.
Right.
All right.
Jeez.
Wait. He did start with that. I mean, he did.
I love Roman twist.
I know, but he-
I'm trying to pace myself.
Okay. All right.
Fucking ask you. Answer. Speak up.
Right.
Fire.
Literally, when Chris took the first order, he pointed at Steve and said, Roman twist, and he literally said the phrase,
no.
7 orange whips.
Oh, yeah.
And then Steve said, no.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to pace myself. Okay?
I understand. Yep.
This place needs pacing.
It's
True.
So what you're saying is this place needs a floor ref.
Yeah.
All the name of this place is Uber.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what?
Have one.
An Uber to my house is the same as 2 drinks here. I found out. Because the bartender one time said, I'll buy you 2 drinks or an Uber home. And he says, but I'm only going to let you take the Uber. He goes, you can collect the 2 drinks next time. And I was like, oh, okay, that's great. So anyway, my issue. So now we're going to get to the actual issue. Aside from the other 5 issues he's already listed about the things that don't work.
Let's just get this over with.
Thank you, exactly. So my issue is
I happen to like Chappies.
again,
Say everything you want.
we knew you would.
Now so Steve can answer his question.
So my issue, thank you. So my issue is the petcock and the fuel vacuum line. I have a small pipe sticking out next to the cylinder, which I assume is for the vacuum line needed to run the petcock. Correct. I found an online manual which has helped and found a few parts locally, but still need a few things. In all 360 plus episodes, I do not recall you guys talking these up or bashing them.
Okay.
Again, wow, they are significant in their insignificance.
It was the only thing last year at Mid-Ohio that, like, in good shape, you could still get for $125.
And the Honda Chappie is the also ran of small, chubby, tired scooters.
Yamaha.
Or motor. Right. Yeah, Yamaha. Did I say Honda? I said, sorry. The drinks are settling in. The Yamaha Chappie is, and there's the Champ and there's the Chappie. Right. And of the two, I think the Chappie is better than the Champ. So we'll give you that. He can feel better about that.
What's one with the shaft drive?
The Champ, and then there's the Suzuki FA50 that has shaft
yeah.
drive. Yeah, so there's a few of them, but the Suzuki FA50, why do I fucking know that?
Exactly.
That is the dumbest thing. That is seriously, I shouldn't know that.
Off like it was like you were just talking about
No,
it yesterday.
you know what? I consider that mental illness. I shouldn't know that because I've never owned one. Somebody abandoned one when I used to work at Supersonic, and Scott just claimed it as a pit bike. So you couldn't kill the damn thing, though. But anyway, in all 360 episodes, I don't recall you guys talking these up or bashing them. Should I cut my losses and dump it?
Yes.
No. Or keep going? Also, when you go back to the Isle of Man, make sure to sign up as a marshal. It's the best thing I ever did.
Oh, he's done it?
Whoa! Okay.
We thought about that when we were there.
We
This
did.
is an awesome job to do.
And
Yeah.
because being a marshal at the Isle of Man is like, you're never going to pay for a drink or sex or anything. It'll be...
Wait, do you have to pick up body parts, though, if things go bad?
And sweep.
And sweep
And
a
sweep
lot.
a
There's
lot.
a lot of sweeping.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sweeping. But you get to know when you're
Front
done.
row.
Yeah.
Front
You get to
row
know
of
when you're
everything.
done sweeping
Yeah.
because the doctor on the Interceptor is going to go past you at 170 miles an hour. Because after you sweepy sweep, then they send the doctors out. And like they're on 200 mile an hour bikes.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's like Doctor, and he just goes by. Yeah, it's real. And so anyway, but yeah,
That's awesome.
Marshall,
That's
come
a
on,
great
man,
idea.
that's cool.
Yeah.
That's a bucket list right there. Okay, and one more thing, UncleNearest, yay or nay?
Yay.
Yay!
Definitely.
I think we can all.
Oh, yeah.
I think UncleNearest is his. I don't know if anybody else, but I
I
feel.
just love the story of it. I'm not a brown liquor kind of guy.
Okay, so
Well, sometimes.
Bullshit.
You know what happens is McSloshy takes over and he doesn't remember anything.
and that's a Jekyll Hyde situation.
And he likes it.
Right now, Dan, because this is a podcast.
Which McSloshy are you talking about there, Cincy?
Exactly.
Number one and number two.
Yeah, but my McSloshy comes from beers when I forget that I've had 12.
Yeah.
His is more brown liquory.
So Dan, would you like to remind the folks of the brief version of the UncleNearest story? The story of UncleNearest and why UncleNearest is
I don't
called
think
UncleNearest.
I know it.
Oh, you don't?
Bring it on. Yeah.
You got it or no?
Yeah, I know one of us has it. I remember being told.
Well, if I'm correct,
yeah.
I can't think of his first name, but his last name was Nearest. He was the guy that was distilling alcohol and taught Jack Daniels how to distill alcohol.
Right.
He happened to be an African-American man back in those days.
Let's call him
He'd probably still be an African-American these days.
Well, yeah.
Let's just say he worked on the plantation.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know what
Right.
it's
Yeah, exactly. But he basically
Not middle management.
but to be exactly. He was not
Right.
necessarily a free man as
Right,
well.
right.
And to get at least treated fairly, he decided to teach Jack Daniels
Right.
all these different
Right
ways
on,
of
baby.
making whiskey.
Yeah.
And then Jack Daniels said, "Okay, cool," and came out with Jack Daniels.
Jack Daniels, number 7.
The perfect,
Right.
recipe whiskey that him and his family came up with all by themselves.
Exactly. Yeah.
So now a company has done the research and they pulled all the stuff, and I think it's a relative of
Yes.
the original guy.
It's his great niece or something.
Yeah, great niece.
That's exactly part of the story.
But they did it right because they just didn't come out with the booze and claim the story.
Right.
They put together a museum quality documents to show that the lineage is there.
Yep.
And now they've come out with their own.
And we've all drank it.
Yeah.
And one, I can tell you it's delicious. 2, he can tell you it's effective. Right? Yeah.
And the story,
It gets the job done.
yeah, it's just great.
Okay.
And it's better than Jack Daniels.
Yeah, I
100%.
honestly,
I'm not a fan of.
yeah. There are a couple of blends of Jack Daniels that I do drink. Gentleman Jack is something that I do drink, but the traditional Jack number 7 in the bottle, it's one of those things that because I probably got really, really drunk on it when I was 18 years old, it still has a bad memory associated with it. So, yeah.
I think we've even had Jack Cream around
Yes.
that.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
Yeah, we have had
It was
Jack.
good.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
Jack Daniels is one of those things that when you're like 18, you don't even know what it is.
Yeah,
you don't know that it's a whiskey.
No. It's
What do you mean you don't know?
no. You know it's Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
But do you know it's whiskey?
No, you just know that it's
Jack
some
Daniels.
kind of a brown thing that burns your
when
fucking
I was a
mouth.
kid, we had Jack Daniels wine coolers or Lynchburg lemonade or whatever the crap it was, and that wasn't a million miles away from whiskey. So anyway, but our question for our listener is valid, and that is the whole thing. He's like, so my issue is the petcock and the fuel vacuum line. I have a small pipe sticking out next to the cylinder, which is
I'll talk to the vacuum line should be going somewhere from your intake.
Yep.
To the back of the petcock, so you'll have that's what actuates the little diaphragm in there. I mean, I've never worked on one of those. I won't ever work on one of those. And I'm sure it's a fun little bike. It's yours. You do what you want with it. I would pick it up and fling it.
Well,
The vacuum line, though, from the transalp for the petcock comes from the cylinder head.
exactly. So that's why I wanted to bring it up. So if you see a nipple,
The nipple.
Congratulations.
if you see a nipple sticking out of the side of your motorcycle and it's metal, and you see that, and you stick the appropriate size hose onto it, or it looks like it ever had a hose
Don't
on
fill
it.
it with gas.
No, just put your thumb over the damn thing and kick the bike over.
Oh.
And so if you put the thumb over the thing and you kick the bike over and you feel a vacuum, well, then it cannot just exist in the open world vacuuming nothing into it. It's that vacuum is meant to do something else. So your job as a scientist is to figure out the other part of the equation.
What it's meant to do is, whenever your diaphragm wears out, it will suck fuel through the petcock and flood your bike out.
Exactly.
What
Almost
you're really
instantly.
supposed to do is throw that all away,
Yep.
and you can probably buy a manual one that'll fit right on there and then block off the vacuum.
It's
Well, you could
completely
take
right.
the second, you could leave the main diaphragm in the petcock.
Yeah.
And there's a secondary one.
Yep.
You just take that out, and
Right.
then you just block off that vacuum port, and then it just works like a standard petcock.
If you put a rubber tube on that, you put a hose on it and stick a golf tee in it or whatever you got, little small bolt or whatever, and then just go to Home Depot and get an inline fuel control valve from Home Depot, $6 or $3, depending on where you are. Put that in your fuel line between the gas tank and the carburetor. Then, if you got fuel going through, congratulations, your diaphragm is in fact ripped up, because it probably was anyway. If it's not fuel going through, congratulations, your diaphragm is intact, which stinks, but you can fix that too, right? So what I would probably do, since it's just a field bike anyway, and it always will be just a field bike, you're not going to be, nobody cares if this is a 100-point restoration. It's a freaking Chappie.
I think this guy does.
Yeah.
Just based on what he
Okay.
already owns.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to go ahead and buy the rebuild kit for the petcock and do it right.
I think so
He's
too.
going to want it stocked.
Right.
Yeah.
So you spend $80. You buy either an Amazon or
Oh,
eBay fuel tap.
He's going to want Yamaha partner.
There you go. Then you spend $120 and you and you get what'd you say? 12 inches of hose?
12 inches.
You get about 12 inches of hose and run it from the vacuum line. Run it over there. You're probably going to be fine, man. And then you'll have a running Chappie until the seals in the motor go.
Yeah.
Which will probably be 45 minutes after you get the motor running. Yeah. Which is fine. Which is cool. Then it'll just smoke more. Yeah, it'll be fine. I don't think
We've
it'll be
learned
fine.
here that there's nipples that suck and then
Nipples that
you
blow.
suck.
But yeah, that's also true. Yeah, I like it. It is also true. So anyway, there's a gentleman by the name of Dave Osterday. Not yesterday, but Osterday.
Osterday.
That would be like
Osterday?
Osterday.
Okay.
That's like one more. That's yesterday plus one.
He's
Is
Swedish?
Osterday. You gotta be.
Swedish.
Come on, gotta be.
Yeah.
Gotta be. Bork. Yeah.
Other day.
Yo, Unkie Phil, long time, sometimes. You may not remember from Vintage Days last year,
Oh, shit.
as the guy with the basket case CB350 John tried to help with, or as the guy that passed out with a bottle of Weller on the Bourbon Ferry night.
Oh,
yeah.
shit, yeah.
Dave Osterday.
At least he drinks Weller.
What's up, Dave?
I thought too. It's like a big guy. He was over there in the one aisle. We were talking with him.
Yeah, we were walking
He passed
around.
out on the Bourbon Ferry night. Anyway, I've thrown caution to the wind, and he's signed up for the Loud Escapes Dolomite tour with the Misfits. So he's going to Germany,
Nice.
and he's going to the Alps. Even though I ride a fair bit, I have never done a tour like this, and I'm totally stressing about gear and packs. And as I'm just down the road in sunny Cincinnati, if I was to make an appointment like a well-behaved customer, are you willing to take some time and walk me through and sell me some proper tour gear? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even though our shop is not set up, we do not have racks full of clothing. That's not what we do. There are places that do that. We are not one of them. We are not there to show you 17 different jackets in extra small through, oh my God.
How much tour tech do you have in your shop?
Exactly one piece. Right, yeah. And Chris may have bought it, I'm not sure. Right,
What's that huge
exactly.
place in Columbus?
It's
That would be
called
the perfect-
Iron Pony.
Here,
Yeah, that place
The
is
Ironic
the perfect
Pony.
place to
So
go.
the Ironic Pony has got everything you'd ever want in the way of clothing. If you want to go try things on, which everyone does,
Yep.
you should try it before you buy it. And what our shop learned is we just can't afford to be there, so you can try it before you buy it.
and especially like if you're not concerned about having this year's latest stuff,
Yeah, exactly.
go to adventurerider.com.
Yeah, that's right.
And in the swap shop section, you have all these guys that have the brand new BMW 1250, so their 1-year-old climb whatever
Yeah.
$10,000 jacket is now $400.
I agree.
Like
Yeah.
I've bought 3 complete riding suits off
Yeah.
there for less than $200 for the whole suit, and they were like 2 years old and mint,
Yeah. I
but they
find
were
it-
2 years old.
I find it very hard to pay full retail
Yeah.
on any piece of riding equipment because I know that there's always last year's equipment kicking around.
You know,
So yeah.
BMW, that stuff that you
Yeah.
buy, it's like they're like Furbies.
It doesn't make, yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
they're like
Yeah.
seriously.
Hey, how you doing, man?
How you doing?
Did I just hop in the podcast?
Oh, it's okay. We're literally 10 minutes left.
Come
Yeah.
on, guys. Sorry to interrupt.
10 minutes left and we're good to go.
Yeah, take your time.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
I'll watch.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, enjoy it. So that kind of thing. When you're buying motorcycle gear and that kind of stuff, there is absolutely no benefit to getting absolutely this year's freshest gear unless
You're
it's
going to Starbucks.
Well, unless you're, it's like, well, okay. I will give you guys an example. Imagine if you would that the helmet that you wanted to buy last year, this year that helmet is available as a MIPS system. So now the helmet that you wanted is now available with a MIPS system in it, and you've heard MIPS systems are good. They protect your head better in a crash. Rock on. So yes, you would want to buy this year's helmet. But honestly, if it's a jacket I'm probably going to fall down the road in anyway, I don't give a shit whether that bitch says 2019 or 2022.
Well, the
Yeah.
C30 armor hasn't changed in about 10 years.
Yeah, and even if you
So-
do D3O and all kinds of
Yeah.
different stuff, it's still freshy fresh. I mean, the stuff is on the money. Hello, Renee.
Oh my God, we can get her
Yeah.
on the podcast.
Yeah,
she
right,
has no
right,
choice
exactly.
to not.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Renee can go over there if she wants, but we're recording right now for about
No, we're
another
not. Just
8
sit
minutes.
Yeah, no, we're done.
Renee.
We just have some questions to ask you real quick.
Right, it's okay. Our several listeners want to know. Right, they want to see if you can get all that in
Was
your
she
box.
busy stuffing her box today?
I was gonna. She did some amazing. She did some epic box stuffing today.
Excellent.
So, but yes. So our podcast listener will know. You don't need to buy it brand new. You don't need to buy it from me. You can absolutely be frugal. Get somebody else's 2-year-old Aero Stitch.
Yeah.
That's great. I mean, there's a lot of good ways to get
Get
decent
seamless
gear.
underwear.
Get seamless underwear is actually that's a good
Yeah.
idea if you're going to do a
You
lot.
know, as much as we don't like Manscaped anymore,
Yeah.
their underwear kicked ass. Their underwear for riding was fucking great.
Right. And for the type of ride that we're going to be doing, it is not going to be 400 miles in one day. So you do not need to worry about, oh my God, am I going to be able to wear this helmet or this jacket or these pants for 7 hours?
Right.
It's not what it is. For this kind of an alpine tour, I've done a bunch of these. You could go out there with a jean jacket, you know, your most comfortable gloves, a decent pair of riding pads, a little bit of Arbor on, and you're fine.
Just
you know?
comfortable.
Just be comfortable.
I
Enjoy the trip.
I like those. I mean, personally, I like
Yeah.
those 5 quarters.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
all the vents in them.
me too.
Because then there are perfect 3-season coat.
Yeah.
You can take the liner out.
Nobody
They have a-
ever-
And plus, your
It's
dot-approved
not-
4-season shorts.
Right.
So those are
Yeah.
important.
Yeah.
And nobody's ever said anything bad about a Tourmaster Stadium Link jacket.
No.
They got air from all the different directions, but then if it rains, you make 6 zips happen, and now you're waterproof. And you don't need to spend over $300 on one of those.
No, that you
Yeah.
just nailed it too. Like Tourmaster,
Yeah. Tech Sport,
something
yeah.
first gear or something like that.
First gear.
There's a
Yeah.
whole bunch of like kind of like they seem like they're
The
lower.
term
end.
I'd like to use is Pakistan's finest.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but they work, man. They work well, and they're like, wait, should they climb? How can they charge $1,000?
Because
for a
Liza
fucking
will
jacket?
only wear climb
That's insane.
Yeah.
gloves.
Okay.
She's very brand loyal.
Yeah.
In the glove department. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. So that's, I mean, I feel like that's a very, very important one. As far as what we've got coming up, so as we move in here, there is going to be a distinguished gentleman's ride.
Yeah.
So for sure, the 23rd or whatever the Sunday is.
22nd.
22nd, thank you. We cleared that up. It's 23rd if you're in Australia. So it's still the 22nd, but it happens for the 23rd for us,
yeah.
right? So it is the Sunday. We are going to do it here in Cleveland, and I am committing myself to an institution. We are going to set the thing up for small bikes.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
May. Yeah, so the last Sunday of May, I believe, is the way it works out. But
That's my birthday month.
is it really? Wow, good for you, man.
It's actually May 2nd, but the
Oh,
whole
it is?
month. The whole
oh,
month.
you're taking whatever. What are you, a 12-year-old girl?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm taking the whole month for the heck of it. Yeah, that's fine. It is going to end up being on the 22nd. Dan is right, the 22nd of May. We're going to be meeting up probably 11 o'clock-ish. So we're going to have a lot going on. The Cleveland Crawford Auto Museum has invited us to come out and do something there because they're going to have some other kind of a motorcycle exhibition going
Awesome.
on.
That place is awesome.
So we'll see what they've got going on if we want to get involved with that. But we are going to aim this at the smaller bikes. So we're going to kind of say this might not be the trip for your 1800cc baggerthon. This might be your trip for your 100cc bike. So we're going to try to have everything be maybe under 45 miles per hour.
That's good.
Yep. So it'll be a fun run.
No,
And-
that's not to say you can't. You bring a big bike,
you
but
can.
it's going to be a slower ride.
But what I'm saying is if you're willing to read between the lines is you've got until May 22nd
Go buy
when you
one.
go look at your garage and you go, which one am I going to work on?
Make it
Work
run.
on the small one. Don't work on the big one. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
For this ride where we don't want to have Renee in the back with a pickup truck, sag wagon, right? Yeah, we have a history of having a couple of bikes always break down within 37 feet of the launch point. When we left out of here, the Porco one year, the whole group left out. And it was as though you're like, well, you know, you're going to lose a few. And we had like 6 or 7 bikes that didn't make it to the first light.
Or they just wanted to stay at Porco.
Whatever. No, but the point is they all wanted to go in the pickup truck.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, you didn't even leave the property. You don't get
That's
to
a
go in the
Renee
pickup.
problem, yeah.
You don't get to go in the pickup truck. You get to go in the pickup
Pretty
truck if
girl
you
drives
broke
the truck.
down.
If I'm broke down, I get to drive
I'm
with the
gonna get
pretty
to sit
girl.
with the pretty girl all day. Right, yeah. That's exactly what it's all about. So screw that noise. So amen, brother. So we're going to wrap this podcast up because it's Oscar's birthday.
Yep.
And because we have a
Special guest star.
special guest. So we have with us
Ely.
Ely's an illusionist, a magician, because
Oh, shit.
we couldn't get you a clown.
Ely, do you mind if I
We
film
couldn't
some
get you a
B-roll of
stripper.
you doing your stuff with the little camera?
Yeah, right
All
on.
right, so you'll be able to see some of what he's doing, guys.
Yeah, that's so great. I'm really excited about this. That's
Yeah.
why we've been hurrying you along all day. That's why we've been pushing you so hard.
Yeah.
It's because like, oh man, we got special entertainment coming in.
Nice.
So rock on. So that's great. Anybody else got anything else?
No, I'm looking forward to this.
Joke?
Oh, we got a joke?
joke.
Quick joke.
Oh, no, come on.
Got
I
one?
gave you a good joke.
What do you,
Do that one.
Okay.
All right.
All
Okay,
right. So
all
here's
right.
the joke for the podcast. I gave it to Smith, but he gave it back.
okay. All right.
So this guy, he really wanted to go see a movie,
All right.
but he loves his duck, and he always takes his duck with him.
Oh boy. Yeah.
So he goes up to the window and he has his duck with him, and he's like, "Hey, I'd like to go see this movie." The lady's like, "Well, you can't take a duck into the movie theater." He's like, "Really?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, you can't take your duck." He's like, "Okay." So he goes around the side of the building and shoves a duck in his pants. Walks back up to the window, and the lady's like, "Oh, yeah, here's your ticket.
Here's your
Enjoy
ticket.
your
Enjoy the
movie."
movie. Yeah.
So he goes in there and he sits down and he sits next to 2 lovely 75-year-old ladies, and he's sitting there and he's watching the movie and starts to feel the duck move around quite a bit, and he's like, "I think the duck's suffocating.
I better give him some air.
I better give him some air."
Right.
So he unzips his zipper and the duck head comes out and it's breathing and doing its thing.
Right.
And the one lady, the old lady, looks at the other old lady and says, hey, Milgard. She's like, "Yeah." She goes, "You see what's going on over here?" She goes, "Oh, yeah. She goes, "I'm 75 years old. I've seen 1,000 penises in my life." She goes, "Yeah, but this one's stealing my popcorn."
And on that note,
And that sounds amazing. So remember, folks, ride fast and take chances. John?
bum, 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 bum.
Happy birthday, Oscar and Steve, plus the red button.